guys, Chloe here, and this is Bast. She is the sister of Butter, the kitty you saw in my newbie video, who is actually sleeping over there. So we do have a few kiddos getting in on the action today. I have a review for In the After by Demetria Lunetta. If you like YA and you like kind of a dystopian sci-fi style YA, this gets a 5 out of 5 for me. I was really blown away by this book. It is non-stop, on the edge of your seat reading from the very first page to the last page. So this is going to be spoiler free, of course. This story follows Amy and Baby. Baby is another survivor that she finds within the first couple chapters of the book. I was really blown away by how this book goes. The book's divided into 3 sections. The first part of the book follows Amy and Baby as they try and survive on their own. And then the last 2 sections of the book follow them at this new place that they found, this survivor colony. I love how this book tells a story. Now, you think a lot of books you read, if you pull it open, you see a lot of dialogue going back and forth, and that's how they get things across. You know, we have to show, not tell. We have to show the action going on, and a lot of times that involves using a lot of dialogue along with description. But this book, the first third of the book, there is minimal spoken dialogue. The first several chapters, there's no dialogue at all. It is just description and inner thoughts. We learn about this in the first chapter or so of the book, that silence is paramount to survive in this new world, because these creatures are highly sensitive to any kind of noise. So if you want to survive, you don't talk, you don't make a noise, you don't wear shoes, you be as quiet as you can be. So the first third of the book uses a lot of sign language communication between the characters, which I found fascinating because my grandmother is deaf, and I grew up in a large deaf community. I actually worked as a note taker for the deaf students at a local college. So I found that really fascinating. It was interesting. It felt like seamless dialogue was happening, even though some of the phrases were stilted because they weren't signing every single word and things like that. But it's just very fluid. It flows, and I think it adds to the tension that you feel in this book. You always feel like, oh my God, what is going to happen next? I know that when I was reading this book, I felt like I was breathing too loud. I felt like the cats were purring too loud. I was like, oh my God, they're going to hear me turning the pages of the book. It made you so aware of everything. One day I freaked myself out sitting and reading this book at night, and I forgot that my dog was outside, and I had turned, the outside light was off, and all of a sudden I see this like face in the window staring at me. Oh my God. Oh, it killed me. So this book was gripping from start to end. The middle section of the book also does something a little bit different as well. It hops between the present and the past. So it does it a really good way though. Again, it feels seamless when we have these flash forwards and flashbacks, and it tells the story in a really great way. It just kind of, you get little tidbits and you're like, ooh, that's really cool. Now I'm like really nervous about what's going to happen. And then you get some of the background of some of these things that are going on, and then we jump back to the present, and then we go back to the past. So it was a really great way. I wasn't quite sure if I would like all of these jumps back and forth, because there would be maybe 3 or 4 jumps back and forth, sometimes within a single chapter. But it worked. And it kept me engaged in the story. It kept me engaged in these multiple plot lines happening at once, because they all tie together into one singular plot. The end of the book was gripping as well, just kept the tempo up from start to finish. A really great twist. It was something I kind of thought, I wonder if this is what's going to happen, or this is what it is, and it ended up being correct. Also a twist in there that I didn't see, which I thought was really cool. This book was amazing. As soon as I finished this book, I had to read the next one called In the End. There's 2 books in this series, so there's In the After and In the End, and In the End is actually longer than this one, maybe about 50 or 60 pages longer than this book. So I did end up ordering In the End on ebook. Number one, because I didn't have it in the store, but number two, because it was actually longer than this one. I was totally wrong thinking that I could hold this in my wrist with my stuff I got going on. I can hold this book for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then I have wrist pain starting to set in. So I spent most of my time reading this book with it just kind of propped on my legs and things like that. So this book was awesome. I give it a 5 out of 5. If you love YA dystopian or YA sci-fi, I think you will enjoy this book. If you like a strong female character, I think you will enjoy this book. It had a little bit of everything, and it has a variety of storytelling techniques that could be disastrous if not used correctly, and she just brought them all together in a wonderful way, and I found myself zooming through this book. I could not wait to sit down and read some more of it. If you're interested in reading in the after, I will have a link down below to where you can purchase this book. Alright guys, I will see you later. You have a wonderful day and get some reading in.